Hello friends, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. How you doing today? Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me. I'm here to do a final flip through of this journal we've been working on. So it's the journal, it's Traveler's Notebook, TN insert, standard size 8 1/4 by 4 1/4. And it's the journal we created that came from the collab where I'm using up a paper pad. Now I still have some of that left. Actually, I was going to show you that and I never did in one of my videos. So I have this much left, which I do plan on using up. So I counted them the other night and there's still about, there seems like there was probably about 18 left there. So still quite a bit to use up, but I did use up quite a lot of them. So I've got what I made was a Traveler's Notebook and an ephemera folder, and this time instead of cardstock I used some of the paper from that paper pad in order to keep that going, you know, using up the paper pad. So we'll just put this to the side and we'll flip through this first. I did sew zigzag stitch around the whole cover. I added lace. It's pre-pamphlet stitch bound with white cord. And this I put together at the last minute, this little closure. I had some purple lace out here that I was going to use, the same lace as I put on the spine, and it was actually buried. But I thought I looked for it. I looked and looked. I looked everywhere. I was like, I guess I ran out. I couldn't find it. So I'm kind of glad I couldn't find it because it made me think, and it made me think about doing this, which is I wove some of this string here that I used. I used some of it on the tags in here, and I used it right here. It's like yarn type of string, and it's really pretty purple. And let me see, make sure you can see that. Yeah, it's kind of a fuzzy little yarn, purple yarn, really pretty, that I received in Happy Mail. But I was using it in this journal, and it was sitting here, and so I thought, well, I'll just use this Dollar Tree crochet, you know, lace that I have. It's a good color. It matches the journal, you know, kind of the neutral color right here. And then I had the purple yarn sitting here, and I thought, well, I wonder if I could weave it through. And I was like, well, that's going to be a pain, you know, because at first I started with my fingers trying to weave it through, and I thought, you know, I wonder if I can thread this through a needle. So that's what I did. I got my needle, I have my needle right here that I had bound it with still, and so I grabbed that. I grabbed the yarn, and I grabbed a needle threader out of my little sewing basket or chest that I have here, and and threaded it with no problem. And then I was just able to take my needle and weave it in and out of there's little holes in this lace at the right here at this side. You know, it's kind of the lace right here, and then this side, or like, I guess I'll call it the top, has little holes. So I just wove it through the little holes. And I think it came out even prettier than it would have been if I would have just used this purple lace, even though that would have been pretty. This is just really cool, right? So I'm glad I had the challenge of figuring out something else to use, because it ended up really actually better than it was going to be, right? So that was really a neat little discovery. I've seen other people weaving things in and out of their pages or their lace, and I don't think I've ever done it before, so it was really neat. I just tied a little knot at the end, at each end here, so to keep it from coming out. So there's a knot, you know, the first hole here, there's a knot, and the first hole where I think I ended on this side, and then I tied a double knot on this side. So that's how I tied it off. But anyway, this journal, as you can see, came out pretty chunky, but really pretty. Lots of nice, bright colors. And here's the back. So here's the front. It says Beauty. There's a pretty little bird and flowers right here. This scrapbook paper is just so pretty. It's almost like you don't need to do anything to it, right? So we had made a pocket here inside the front cover, if you remember that. And I put the word Memories right here. In this front pocket I have a bookmark with the word Happy on it. That's a tattoo that I put on there. So a nice big piece of paper you could do something with. You could journal on the back. It's light enough to write on, I think. I did corner punch the corners on that with my decorative punch. This is a little, oh, that's not supposed to be in there. Where'd that come from? Okay, so this is a little journaling card that is tied here, and it's got little eyelets here to hold it, help it hold it closed. And I like to do that when I have a paper, something paper. If you put an eyelet, then you have a strong hole, right? You know your tie is not going to rip through your paper. And then the word amazing is right here, and it's light inside. I'm not going to untie it, but it's light colored on this side of the scrapbook paper, so you can write on that. So I thought that would be a fun little, like, if you wanted it to be a secret journaling spot where you could write in there something private and then tie it, and this be a little fun little private journaling spot. And then I made the first page. Of course, it's really pretty, that scrapbook paper. I put 2 pieces of fabric here that are pinked, and then added the word beauty, so this would look like a title page, like when you open a book. There's your title page, right? So that was really pretty. Here I made a little tiny, tiny pocket out of a piece of that fabric again, the pinked fabric. And in here is 2 little tags made from the cutoffs. You know, the little strips from this scrapbook paper with some eyelash trim on both of those. That's pink, and this is kind of a yellowish beige color. So those are 2 little tags that just a fun little thing. I'm trying to use up those little scraps, right? Every chance I got. So those are in that tiny pocket right there. And then plenty of room to write all over back of this page because it's light and it's beautiful. And this is a piece of stationery here. And on this side I just put another one of the strips to decorate this white page, and then you have more writing room. So scrapbook paper, as you can see, beautiful. Didn't need to do anything there. We've got flowers and butterflies. This is yellow, like a plain yellow sheet of paper, like a light buttery yellow. And then this was a piece from this scrapbook paper pad where it was a cutout, and I added the flowers and the butterflies here. And it just went so well with this whole kit, with the greens and the pinks and the purples. And I had, had these from something else, and it just went perfect with, it looked like it belonged together. So here is another page and a pocket. Decorated this pocket a little bit with some more of those pieces that went so well from the other. It was from a kit from Shabby Dabby Doodah, actually, those pieces that I added, a digital kit. And the greens were just perfect. I mean, look at the green. This is the scrapbook paper. And then look at the greens in here. It just went so well together. It looked like it was already there, right? Didn't look like I even added it. It should have been there in the first place, right? And this is sewn, this pocket. This is a bookmark or a journaling card that I made from a piece of from the Vintage Prevention magazine that I was working with. This is some Tim Holtz flowers here, and I stamped the number 3. So that is in there just to do whatever with, write all over the back and have fun with. A little collage tag. And this is, let's see, this side was, I think this was a piece of the flash card. This was a flash card, that's right. And I just collaged on that. It was, in that flash card set, there were some blank cards too, so I think this was one of the blank ones. This is from a vintage ledger. You see the pink and blue lines there and the numbers right up there. So that's original, authentic ledger. This is scrapbook paper with an envelope that I have clipped on here. And there's a little folded piece of, I think it's a piece of paper from this, scrapbook paper from this kit. Little collage or layering right there. And this is a binder clip holding it over the page. And then this is some of the handmade paper that I showed before with lines there. Scrapbook paper. This is 3 layers of paper here that I layered to just, decorate this pocket. It's sewn here. And this is a journaling card that is decorated. This one does open and has coffee dye paper here to write on. Decorative punches in the corners. This piece is sewn on, so when I sewed on it, it went through, so you can see the sewing on this side too. Makes a little frame there. This is the word inspired and a pretty bird there. A nice folding journaling card. Here I just clipped on a journaling card so you can do whatever you want with this. You can glue it down all the way. You can glue it down part way and make a pocket, or just, decorate it. Use it as a frame, whatever you want. I just thought it would be neat to keep it right there for someone to do what they wanted with. So, you'll see the scrapbook papers, all these pretty pages, so I won't say it's scrapbook paper every time. You know. This is the placemat. It was half a placemat that I couldn't fit the whole placemat in here. I had to chop the middle out actually and sew two pieces together to make it fit in here because it was bigger than this journal. But I wanted to add it and have that pretty, and this is a pretty sturdy doily actually, so that's another reason I didn't. Sometimes I glue them down on a page and use them as a decoration to glue down on a page. But this one was really sturdy, so I just kept it as a page. Then here I added a little decoration. This is the pocket that I showed you before that I made out of two pieces of scrapbook paper. I've got the little finger holes here, and I added a coffee dyed doily that I cut out the the edge. I just added that right there and right here to decorate this little pocket. And in here I have that book which I showed before, but it's the scrapbook paper. It's the coffee dyed paper, little pad of paper that I had made. It's sewn together right here, and it just fits right in that pocket. There's some extra journaling room. So this is graph paper. And then I've got another envelope on here with an owl clip, and it's an envelope made from this paper. I've got the little 1914 on there as a decoration. This is a stamp also that I put on there, a decorative stamp. And then in here I also have some more paper, I believe. Let me see if I can feel it. Oh, I don't know if I put paper in that one. I don't feel it. Maybe it's just an envelope for you to have fun with, but I didn't want to take it out right now. So this is a piece of paper I put on, a pretty piece of paper that I got in Happy Mail that I put on this music page here. And this is a fold out where I have a little tab from the cutoffs from the holes that I punched in that pocket, the little holes right here. I use those as tabs, and that's sewn on. So then scrapbook paper, ledger, and then on this scrapbook paper I put some trim. Some pretty vintage crochet trim. This is not the Dollar Tree. You can see it's much wider than the Dollar Tree. It's I either received it in a Happy Mail or picked it up somewhere in my thrifting adventures. So this is some more of that yellow, plain yellow paper, and I put a piece here to decorate, and that's just a fold out. And the pocket here. This is from the flowers that I cut out from this scrapbook paper, and just made it into a little tuck spot there, or pocket. This is from this, cut apart from this scrapbook paper. And this is actually, I made some copies of a telegram I have. So this is a telegram from when my parents got married. I thought it was so cool. I mean, I never had a telegram before. This is the only one I've ever had, real telegram that I've ever had. I've never gotten any or bought any or ran across any in a thrift store or antique store or anything, or flea market or yard sale and all the places I go. I've never found any. So anyway, my mom had given me a bunch of my baby cards from when I was born, and this was in there too, a telegram from my grandparents to my parents when my parents were about to get married, and they say, "We are leaving for Florida now, Mother and Dad." I just thought it was so cool, and a really neat piece of ephemera that I copied it. I mean, a lot of this is the natural color of it. If you've ever seen a telegram, you know that they're the natural color, but it's also old, so it even has more of a brownish color from being old. And I coffee dyed it on the back too. So I just thought that was really fun, neat little piece to put in there, and it does have a date right here. May 29, 1958, and that's when my parents got married. I think they got married on May 30th or 31st. Anyway, so that's just really cool. They were on their way from Michigan, Lansing, Michigan, to Florida, so they had quite a drive. I think they drove down. So, yep, that's just a really neat copy of a piece of ephemera from my stash. So this is a butterfly. I just clipped it on here. I could have put it on. I could have cut it out. I could have put this whole piece on, but I thought, I want to let somebody have fun decorating, and so I just clipped it right there. So and plus I had to put a paper clip over here. So I was like, well, I need to put something there. So that's there, and it's loose for you to do what you want. This is a paper clip that is an altar paper clip that I described in my last video on how I made that. Here's the middle of the signatures, or signature, with charm. I got 2 charms. This one just came off. This, does it have a little, doesn't have an escape route, but this, this wax cord is slippery. That's why I usually, sometimes I'll tie a double knot. It will just come right untied because it's just kind of, it's waxed. So it's kind of slippery, you know. That's why it makes it easy to bind with. It slips right through the holes and everything. But you do have to tie, that's why I always tie a double knot in the center here, or 2 or 3 knots. And I guess I just tied 1 knot here and it just came right untied and fell off just now. So it wasn't like, it's not like it's broken or anything. It's just wax cord is slippery. Okay. Let me see if I can get it back on here really quick. Maybe not really quick. I almost have it. Okay, there we go. Now it's got a double knot. We'll see how that goes. You see, we'll see if you slip out of that. But it's got a butterfly and a heart, a little tiny heart here, so cute. Let me hold it up so you can see, if you can see right here, really cute, and a little butterfly, and they're both bronze. Just really pretty. So, here's a flip out coffee dyed paper. And this might be, I'm saying coffee dye, but you're seeing pink, right? I guess this is my RIT dyed paper. And it looks almost like it's avocado dyed. It might have been a mixture. I mix up my colors sometimes and just have fun. So, yeah, it looks like avocado on the back and RIT dyed on the front. So, mixture. And then here's a little pocket right here. And this is a piece from the Prevention magazine. This was part of the cover that I made into a journaling card. It's sewn around. So that was an old vintage Prevention magazine that I had received one from Aaliyah. Scrapbook paper here. Look how pretty this is. She's got a butterfly in her hair and some flowers. I just thought that was so pretty. Here's a, this is a flip up, flip down type of thing, I believe, if I remember what I did here. Got 3 tags in here. Now these I didn't decorate. I left these for someone to choose what they want to do. They can write on these, they can decorate these, and they're small. This one doesn't have a string. I just said in my last video I make these from my scraps and just have them ready to go for whatever I want to do. Either put them in a journal or decorate them. They're just, you know, fun little tags. So I decorated this here. It's got decorative punches on the corners and it folds down. So you can write all over in there. And again, that pocket, you know, these are in the pocket in the back. And then I added this flower here as a little like tab on this flip out. It's a piece from the scrapbook paper that I cut out. Kind of fussy cut that. Then, so we're on the back half of the journal now. Another piece of lace trim here, that crochet trim, that wide one. Ledger paper. I think I just skipped that. This is so pretty on the back. Just love this paper. Here's some more gorgeous paper. Here I just glued this down, a pretty bird here. Well, actually it's 2 layers. This was like a frame, and I put the little bird in there. Fussy cut him out and put him in there. Here's another one of those tabs from the cut-offs, and it's on this music paper with the fold out. This is a paper clip again. I talked about the altered paper clip there. It goes with these colors so good, I can't even believe it. But yeah, it's perfect, I think. So more pretty paper, graph paper. Okay, so this is the second pocket. You know, the other half of that pocket, I made it go all the way across. So I've got the doily again here and here. And the booklet I made for this one is not, the other one was a flip up, remember? This one is like, opens like this. I've got some coffee dyed paper in here, made with the pretty paper, and it is sewn down the middle here with my sewing machine. So I like to do that. I know how much paper my sewing machine can go through, so I just put as much paper in there as I know will go through my sewing machine and make it that thick. So, and it just fits right in there really nicely. The other half of that placemat doily, I've got another envelope clipped on here with a little teardrop paper clip, and it says garden or jardin in French. And I decorated this with a little piece from the digital kit that was So perfect for here. It's got two little bees and the flowers, and then you can write on here or decorate this further or put whatever you want. It's like a little frame. This is a cardstock, and this side is a butterfly that I fussy cut out from a children's dictionary. It's so cool. I love this butterfly, but I told me to use it in here, and it was perfect. It fit on this page. It's kind of a big butterfly, so I needed a big spot for it, and it's got words all over it, which I think is so cool from the children's dictionary, and the color is really neat too. And this is just a cutoff that I used as a decoration on this page. A thin little thing that I should have thrown in the trash, but I thought, oh, it would be perfect right there. So this is another piece from the children's dictionary, a little definition, a few definitions, but the main one is the flycatcher bird. And there he is right there. So that's that. It's so pretty. And his colors go well with the colors in here. A little tag that I had made. This side is decorated. It says, love what you do here. Got a couple strips. And then this side, there's another strip here. And that says cherish. And several fibers on this one. Several pretty fibers there. And this is a piece from... this was the February issue of a vintage children's magazine that I made into like a tag, bookmark or whatever. It could be a tag, I guess. And then you can write on the back or use it as a bookmark. And it has a little quote here from my Authentique. It's a quote by Charles Dickens from my Authentique paper pack that I had been using. And so we're almost at the back here. Just the rest of this paper. There's that vintage ledger. Here's a pocket here. It says, do something you love every day. And it's a coffee dyed around there and decorative punched the corners. And it just looks so pretty right there. And then here's a sewn around journaling card that I just layered with a piece from that digital kit. And there's the back. And then this is a fold out here, that yellow paper. But I put some more pretty little pieces here on the flap. So just looks so gorgeous. I love those colors. Here's another strip decorating this white page. This is another definition and card from this scrapbook paper that I use in here. This was that, and then I put the definition of a flower right there. That was pretty cool, I thought. Okay. Here's the back cover. We've got a pocket here, and it has the word dream on here. And this is a vintage postcard that I put in here from my personal postcard collection, and that was pretty pink flowers I thought went well in here. So I'll put that in there. So that is the journal. So I'll just show you real quick, hopefully, the ephemera folder. It just unties here, and again I put eyelets on both sides because this is paper. It is a little bit, I called it, it's not cardstock, but I think it's a little thicker than regular scrapbook paper, but it is paper. So I put eyelets there so that these little ties would not tear through the paper. You know, when you're tying them, if you pull them tight, they could tear the paper. I just knotted the inside of the little yarns here. So if you pull real hard, you could probably pull them through. I did double knot it, I think, but I'm just letting you know. I just knotted. You can also tie these like this. You can pull them like this and tie a knot around the side if you don't like it tied like this with just a knot. I've done it like this before, like I just showed you, around the side, but I wanted to try it like this time and see how it went. So far, so good. This one might need another knot here, but it's so far so good. So 2 pockets, as I described before. In the back pocket here, I put extra papers. So I've got a piece of coffee dyed paper, 8.5 by 11, a coffee dyed doily, and just some extra of the scrapbook paper. So you can, you know, cut this up and decorate the journal and do what you want with that. Decorate the journal or make some journaling cards. There's a flashcard here, so you can have fun with that, decorating that. A pretty little Colorado wildflowers playing card. This is a vintage, you know, with lines on both sides, Rolodex card. Over here is, okay, so my telegram that I talked to you about just a minute ago. I also copied the envelope. So I just put the pieces in here. This is the front of the envelope. I didn't want to open it up and make an envelope. You know what I mean? It's from my grandparents to my parents. So I didn't want to tear it up and like, you know, because you could open it up and copy the whole thing and then make envelopes out of it. But I did not want to do that. You know, it's too, you know, it's too precious of a thing. You know, I don't have too many things for my grandparents. So, you know, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't tear it up. But I copied it and I thought it was pretty cool. I did copy it again. You can see how brown it is. I mean, that was a natural brown color here. And then I coffee dyed it. So very cool little just pieces of paper that you can do something with. You use them to decorate something or just have fun. I haven't done anything with the copies yet either, so I have to have some, you know, figure out what, you know, something to do with those and have some fun with those too, so I can show you, you know, an example of what can be done with those. Here's one of my pink dyed checks. Those are the green ones that I pink dye. I put those Valentines that I had picked up during my thrifty adventures. I thought there was 3 in here. Yeah, there is. Okay. Yeah, I put one of each in here. The Peanuts are Snoopy and Charlie Brown, the Scooby-Doo, and the little puppy one here. So cute, right? So those are 3 Valentines that are in here. Since it's February, you know, I figured put some Valentine stuff in there. And in the front pocket here, okay, I've got 2 envelopes. They're little teeny tiny coin envelopes. So you can have fun with these envelopes after you take the stuff out. They're just so cute and tiny. In this one, I have fibers and some of that crochet lace, the wide one, and some purple ribbon. So I'm not going to take them out, but there's probably about at least 5 or 6 things in there of fibers and things like that. You can make tags and things with those. And this one is, let's see, clips and some of those little squares of fabric, and some buttons and some pins. All that kind of stuff is in that one. So I won't dump them out because, you know, that's a lot to pick up. And just, this is from a card, and this had the purple and so pretty. I thought that would be fun to use to decorate something with. So yeah, I cut that out from a greeting card. So that's in there. And this is the Tim Holtz flower that you can do something with. You can also, just as a reminder, if you haven't worked with Tim Holtz flowers before, you can cut these. If you want a smaller flower, just cut, say you want to use these roses, just cut those and then use your daisies on something else. So you don't have to be afraid to cut those up. So that is it. The project is done. I'm going to be cleaning up the rest of my craft room. I already cleaned up some, but the rest of the stuff from this project. So if I find anything else that I want to stick in here, I will do it. And there is one thing I wanted to finish is this little strip. I was putting the strips from the cutoffs, you know, from this project on this coffee dyed, well, this is Rit dyed paper. And I have a little bit more to fill in, and then I was going to make something out of it, so I got to finish that. So if I do end up finishing that, I'll put, like, I can make 2 tags out of this, or two journaling cards. So when I finish that, that could end up in here. And I don't know what else I have here that I might, here's some little note paper, actually. I could stick some of that in here. I might just do that right now. But anyway, I have my next project in mind, and I can't wait to start on it. I used to make a lot of cinch bound or bind it all type bound books, and that's how I started out with notebook rings. I started out making journals with notebook rings and cinch or bind it all. I have a bind it all. And so I want to make a bind it all journal. I'm really, one of the first, I guess, Etsy shops I was inspired by was Burke 7, B-U-R-K-E 7. I think she's in, is she in another country? I'm not sure. But anyway, I just love her journals. They're very eclectic, most of them, and they're made from, most of them are from hardback books. So that's what I want to do next. I'm just dying to make an eclectic book out of random books and pages and magazines, and almost like a glue book, but it'll be in a hardback book, but it won't be big. It'll be, I want to make a regular size one. Anyway, I just can't wait to start on that project. So that'll be the next one that I take you through. and that should be fun, and it should be pretty fast, and I'll show you how I bind it. Hopefully I'll be able to do that on camera. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm gonna have to like refresh my memory on how to do it, but anyway, I'm excited about that, and I hope you like this little project, and I'll see you all next time, and happy crafting. See you later.